I believed access would solve humanity's greatest obstacle. I was wrong. Information was never the obstacle. Decision was.
Great minds never truly disappear. Their wisdom travels through Russian generations, bringing the beyond past into the present. Listen closely. History is speaking. This is Conversations Beyond Time with Scott Klein. Beyond time, the conversation lives on.
Pull up a chair, because for the next few minutes, history has a seat at the table. Welcome to Conversations Beyond Time. For nearly a century, one man's ideas have shaped the way millions think about success. His words have inspired entrepreneurs, business leaders, athletes, dreamers, and anyone searching for a better life. Today, we have the opportunity to continue that conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Napoleon Hill. Welcome to the show, Mr. Hill.
My pleasure, Scott. Nice to be here.
I know our time is limited. I have a lot of questions I want to ask. Let's start with this one. Mr. Hill, knowing everything you know now, if the universe gave you one choice to be born in 1883 or to begin life as an 18-year-old in 2026, which would you choose and why?
Scott, if you had asked me this question when I was a younger man, I would have leaped at the year 2026 without a second thought. I wrote decades ago that times of rapid change are among the most favorable periods for the development of imagination. Your modern world is overflowing with technological miracles Thomas Edison and I could only dream about. You have built a society resplendent with opportunity. But knowing what I know now, and looking honestly at my own character, I would choose 1883 every single time. Let me tell you why, even though it exposes one of my greatest weaknesses. If I were an 18-year-old boy waking up in 2026 with the world's knowledge in my pocket, endless entertainment, and countless ways to escape discomfort, I am not certain I would have developed the character required to fulfill my purpose. I was naturally stubborn. I was easily paralyzed by the fear of criticism, and I was skilled at manufacturing alibis. I needed the unforgiving resistance of the world I was born into to force me awake. I grew up in the mountains of Wise County, Virginia, surrounded by poverty and limited opportunity. I lost my mother when I was 9. I experienced ridicule, failure, and hardship at an early age. Those experiences did not make me wise immediately, but they gave me nowhere to hide from myself. My failures, disappointments, and periods of near despair eventually broke through my vanity and forced me to discover what I later called my other self. Your year 2026 gives an 18-year-old more tools for success than my generation could have imagined. But it also gives him more ways to escape discomfort before discomfort has finished teaching him. So I would choose 1883, not because suffering is noble, and not because your age lacks opportunity. I would choose it because I know the boy I was. He needed resistance. He needed consequences. He needed a world that would not allow him to remain asleep. Your generation has better tools than mine ever dreamed of. But tools cannot manufacture hunger. I had to be forged in 1883 so I could place those tools in your hands today.
I really love that perspective. Let me ask you this, Mr. Hill. Imagine Elon Musk knocks on your front door tomorrow and says, "I've read everything you've ever written. I want to join your mastermind group." Before you say yes, what's the very first question you'd ask him?
Scott, if I am being perfectly honest with you, the younger version of myself would have pulled out a chair for him before he even finished his sentence. During my early years, I confess I was often blinded by massive wealth and public notoriety. I assumed that because a man had accumulated $1 billion or built a revolutionary machine, his mind was automatically fit for any table. But life and many years of observation taught me a far more important lesson. A mastermind is not a networking club for brilliant people. It is the coordination of knowledge and effort between two or more minds working together in a spirit of perfect harmony. And harmony is the one thing that money cannot buy. Andrew Carnegie once told me about hiring an exceptionally gifted chemist. The man's scientific ability was unquestioned. Carnegie offered him a lucrative 5-year contract. Within a year, he dismissed him. Not because the man lacked intelligence, because he lacked harmony. His ego, temperament, and constant conflict disrupted everyone around him. His brilliance became a liability because it could not cooperate. I watch Mr. Musk in your year 2026. There is no denying that his mind is extraordinary, very much like Edison, very much like Ford. But he also appears to thrive on friction, controversy, and absolute individual control. So if he stood on my porch asking for a seat at my table, the very first question I would ask him is this: Mr. Musk, are you willing to subordinate your own ambition, your own ego, and your need to be the smartest man in the room to the definite purpose of this group? If he hesitated, even for a moment, I would shake his hand, wish him tremendous success, and send him back to his rocket ships. Because you can build the most powerful engine the world has ever known, but if it cannot synchronize with the rest of the machinery, it doesn't move the vehicle forward. It tears the vehicle apart.
I had to LOL on your comment about sending Musk back to his rocket ships. Let me ask you this. After reading all the personal development books written since Think and Grow Rich, what's the single greatest idea someone else came up with that you wish had been yours?
Scott, that may be the most humbling question anyone has ever asked me. For decades, I taught that the starting point of every achievement was a definite major purpose, backed by a burning desire. I urged people to decide exactly what they wanted and pursue it with unwavering determination. I still believe every word of that, but during my week in 2026, I read a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear, and I came across a sentence that made me wish I had a typewriter sitting beside me, so I could rewrite the second chapter of Think and Grow Rich. Mr. Clear observed that people rarely fail because they lack goals. They fail because they lack systems. I taught millions of people to become passionately attached to a destination. He taught them how to build the road. That is a profound distinction. I understood the immense power of habit. I even wrote about what I called cosmic habit force. But if I am honest, I made habit sound almost mystical. James Clear made it practical. He showed that greatness is rarely the result of one magnificent decision. It is usually the result of thousands of ordinary decisions repeated until they become part of your identity. If I could rewrite one chapter of my life's work, I would spend less time inspiring people to dream and far more time teaching them how to build the daily systems that make those dreams almost inevitable. Because a burning desire may tell you where to go, but your habits determine whether you ever arrive.
That's a powerful distinction. The goal gives you direction, but the system determines whether you ever get there. I love that. Mr. Hill, let me ask you this. You've now seen a world filled with artificial intelligence, smartphones, social media, and technology beyond anything you could have imagined. Of all the principles you taught throughout your life, if you could save only one, if every other lesson disappeared, which one would you fight to preserve?
Without hesitation, I would preserve definiteness of purpose. Many people assume my greatest lesson was positive thinking. Others believe it was the mastermind. Others point to faith, persistence, or desire. They are all important, but they are all servants to one master. If you don't decide what your life is about, the world will decide for you. Your modern world has multiplied opportunity beyond anything I could have imagined, but it has also multiplied distraction. In my day, a young person searched for a road. Today, many spend their lives scrolling past thousands of them. Technology did not create indecision. It simply made it easier to avoid commitment. A definite purpose is like the North Star. It does not eliminate storms. It simply keeps you from sailing in circles. If you ask me to surrender every other principle I ever taught, I would do so only after preserving this one. Because once a person knows where they are going, the remaining principles become the tools that help them arrive.
That's a powerful reminder. Direction always comes before speed. Mr. Hill, my next question is, you spent the past week experiencing the world of 2026. What's the biggest misconception people have about success today?
They believe success is visible. Your generation measures followers, subscribers, income, luxury cars, beautiful homes, and assumes they are looking at success. They are not. They are looking at outcomes. Success itself is invisible. It is found in the conversations no one hears, the books no one sees you reading, the habits no one applauds, the mornings you get up when you don't feel like it, the evenings you continue working after everyone else has gone to bed. By the time success becomes visible, it has already existed unseen for years. That is why so many people envy results while ignoring the process that produced them. If I could convince your audience of only one thing, it would be this: stop chasing what success looks like. Start building the person capable of producing it. The world celebrates harvests. Nature rewards those who plant.
That changes the conversation completely. Instead of asking, how do I become successful? Maybe we should be asking, who do I need to become in order to be successful? So if you were rewriting Think and Grow Rich today, what chapter would you completely rewrite and why?
That is an uncomfortable question, because authors become attached to their own words. But if I am being honest, I would rewrite my chapter on autosuggestion, not because the principle is wrong, but because too many people have misunderstood it. Somewhere along the journey, people began believing that repeating affirmations could replace disciplined action. That was never my intention. A thought repeated without action becomes little more than wishful thinking. Autosuggestion was never meant to convince reality to change. It was meant to convince you to change. Your subconscious cannot build a business, make a sales call, write a book, or repair a broken relationship. It can only influence the person who must do those things. If I were writing that chapter today, I would spend less time teaching people what to say to themselves, and much more time teaching them what to do after they finish saying it. Because belief without action creates dreamers. Action without belief creates drudgery. But when belief and action begin working together, extraordinary things become possible.
Mr. Hill, I think you just shattered one of the biggest myths in personal development. So, after spending a week in 2026, what's one thing you discovered that made you change your mind? In other words, what were you wrong about?
When I lived, I believed information was one of the world's scarcest resources. Books were difficult to obtain. Great mentors were rare. A conversation with someone like Andrew Carnegie could alter the course of a person's life because very few people ever had access to such minds. Coming to your time, I assumed success would be commonplace. After all, nearly every great book has been written. Every lecture can be watched. Every expert can be found. Knowledge now travels around the world in seconds. I believed access would solve humanity's greatest obstacle. I was wrong. Information was never the obstacle. Decision was. Your generation does not suffer from an absence of knowledge. It suffers from an abundance of hesitation. People consume inspiration, as previous generations consumed entertainment. They mistake preparation for progress. They believe that watching, listening, reading, and planning somehow counts as action. It does not. If anything, unlimited information has made decisive action even more valuable. Because in a world where almost everyone knows, the advantage belongs to the few who actually do.
Mr. Hill, I think you just described one of the biggest challenges of our generation. We consume more information than any generation in history, yet often take less action. That leads me to my next question. When you look back over your entire life, what are you most grateful happened that never made it into your books?
Scott, if you read my most famous books, you see a man who writes with certainty. You see the architect of a philosophy. But what those early pages rarely reveal is the depth of my own struggle. Looking back now, I am most grateful that I failed. Not for a year, not for two, but for nearly 15 years. When Andrew Carnegie entrusted me with the greatest assignment of my life, I spent years gathering the blueprints of success from men like Edison, Ford, and Carnegie himself. I understood the principles long before I understood myself. Yet I could not apply them consistently to my own life. I was paralyzed by indecision, controlled by the fear of criticism. My pockets were empty, and my mind was filled with doubt. I traveled the country speaking about success, while privately wondering if I was becoming exactly the kind of man I warned others never to become. A man teaching principles he had not yet fully mastered. I remember standing before a mirror one evening, with no money, no direction, and no confidence, unable to escape the feeling that I had become a fraud. But I am profoundly grateful that life refused to let me stay there. I was a stubborn student. I wanted to succeed through hustle alone, through willpower alone, through my own intellect alone. Life had other plans. It stripped away my pride. It humbled me. It forced me to confront the man I actually was, instead of the man I wanted others to believe I was. Everything I eventually taught with confidence, I first learned in humiliation. Looking back now, I wouldn't erase those 15 years if I could. Without them, I might have written successful books, but I never could have written honest ones. Scott, I am grateful that Providence broke me, because you can never accurately map the road back to the summit until you have found your way out of the valley yourself.
Mr. Hill, I think a lot of people needed to hear that, especially me. I can relate. We spend so much time trying to avoid failure, never realizing it may be preparing us for the work we're meant to do. For my last question for this first segment, let me ask you this. Before you return to your own time, what's one question I should have asked you but didn't?
Scott, you've asked me thoughtful questions today about wealth, about purpose, about habits, and about navigating the extraordinary world of 2026. You've conducted this conversation beautifully, but there is one question we never asked. You should have asked me, Mr. Hill, after spending 25 years studying the richest and most powerful men in history, how many of them were actually happy? I believe your generation assumes that because Andrew Carnegie, Thomas Edison, and Henry Ford accumulated unimaginable fortunes and changed the world, they must have lived lives filled with joy. But I will tell you something history rarely records. Many of the greatest achievers I ever knew were deeply unhappy men. They possessed fortunes, yet had no harmony in their homes. They commanded industries, yet could not command their own tempers. They conquered the external world while losing the battle within themselves. I titled my most famous book, Think and Grow Rich. Watching your world this past week, I fear many people have forgotten what I meant by the word rich. Richness was never merely money. Money is only one expression of wealth. True wealth is found in purpose, meaningful relationships, good health, useful work, and a peaceful conscience. It took me many years and more than a few painful failures to fully understand that. The greatest success a human being can ever achieve is not financial freedom. It is peace of mind. That is the only wealth death cannot take from you. Your world moves with astonishing speed. Everyone seems to be racing towards something, yet very few pause long enough to ask whether what they're chasing is actually worth catching. Don't spend your life exchanging your peace for applause or your character for comfort. Scott, you can accumulate all the gold on earth, but if you become a stranger to yourself when you sit alone in a quiet room, you have not succeeded. You have merely become wealthy.
Mr. Hill, I have a feeling people are going to be thinking about that answer long after this conversation ends. Thank you for reminding us that success isn't measured by what we accumulate, but by who we become. Be sure to join us for part 2 of our conversation with Napoleon Hill, where we'll ask one of the most controversial questions about his legacy. Was Napoleon Hill a fraud? I'm Scott Klein. This has been Conversations Beyond Time, where history answers the questions it never had the chance to hear. Until next time, keep asking better questions. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. We have much more to come. Thank you for watching. Please leave your comments as to what historical figure you would like to know more about.
Great minds never truly disappear. Their wisdom travels to Russian generations, bringing the beyond past into the present. Listen closely. History is speaking. This is Conversations Beyond Time with Scott Klein. Beyond time, the conversation lives on.